Hello everybody. It's daylight and you can hear me. Progression. I told you this would happen. I told you I'd get better at these. I want to talk to you about an illness that is very pertinent to me, particularly at this moment in time, because you can probably tell I am so exhausted. And that is chronic fatigue syndrome. It's one of the main illnesses, one of the real biggies that I suffer with. And it basically does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm constantly tired all of the time. Now, all of the illnesses that I suffer with have an element of fatigue in them anyway. So it's basically like stacking on top of one another. But when I say chronic fatigue syndrome, people just tend to think, oh, she's a bit tired. No. That's not it. That's so far from it. It's like a different orbit. I'm going to borrow a little bit from an analogy that I saw in the video of an MS sufferer who kind of inspired me to start doing these videos. Her name's Heather. She's an amazing woman. And I'm going to kind of liken it to, imagine Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas anymore, but I do remember from my younger days, I do remember what it was like. But imagine that last kind of, say, 3 days leading up to Christmas, and you're the person that plans Christmas, okay? So you have a mountain of things to do. You've got to get all the washing done to make sure that everything's nice and pristine for all your visitors come in. You've got to wash all of the bedclothes, iron them, put them all back on the beds, make sure that everything's ready for your guests that you've got coming to stay over. You've got to do the food shopping, so you've got to run around the supermarket. This is the days before online shopping. You've got to run around the supermarket. You've got to fight with all the people who are doing their last minute shop as well to get the last bit of turkey and the last bit of ham and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to fight with everybody and you've got to run around. And then you still got the presents. So you've got to run around all the shops and you've got to fight with all of those people doing the last minute shopping. And then you've got to wrap everything. And then you've got to, put the tree up and you've got to get it out of whatever bit of a cupboard or garage or wherever you've got it hidden for 12 months until you need it again. You've got to go and wrestle to get through it and you get it out of there. And then you go and put it up again, and then you've got to go and find the decorations because, of course, they're nowhere near the tree. So you've got to go and find where you put those, wrestle to get those out, drag them down, go and do the tree. You've got the cooking to do. You've got clothes to wash. Some of you might have kids to get ready as well in the midst of all of this. Plus you're working. So you've got to do all of this around your job. And that last, few days is just hectic. Then you've got to start the cooking and you're awake all night for the last couple of nights before. So you've got to get everything ready. And you've got to get through the day, feeding everybody, making sure everybody's happy and everyone's taken care of. You've got to deal with the people who don't like whatever and go and cook something else for them because they've decided that since last year or last week even, they don't eat something that you've made especially for them. So all of these things, all of these elements that you've got to do, all that stuff. And then that moment when everyone's gone home or gone to bed and you finally get to sit down. We're talking probably like 2-3 o'clock in the morning on Boxing Day by the time you finally finished. And you've done all the dishes and everything and whatnot. And you finally throw yourself down on the sofa and you go, right. That moment when the tiredness sets in, take that, multiply it by about a month's worth of that exact same level of tiredness. And then think you don't get to go to bed at that point. You have to start all over again. That moment is what it feels like to have chronic fatigue syndrome. It is a never-ending level of exhaustion that is not just a regular everyday exhaustion. It's so far advanced into it that you can't even see straight. There are times when I physically cannot see straight. And bear in mind, because I suffer from night pains as well, my night pains keep me up until you're getting up in the morning. Okay, so because of the pains I suffer from at night, I don't get to go to sleep until somewhere between, it depends on the night, but anywhere from between 4 and 7 o'clock. That's when this is obviously talking about in the morning, that's when I start to get to fall asleep. That's when the dulling down starts to happen. The pains are still there, but they dull down enough so that I can actually get some sleep. That's when, I get to go. So if you take all of that into account, the fact that I do not get to sleep at night, you understand why I am so exhausted all of the time. There is never a time when I have an ounce of energy, not just because of all of the illnesses, but because I'm so exhausted that I can sometimes not even feed myself because I can't stay awake long enough to do it. I fall asleep with food in my mouth. I have to be watched whilst I'm eating because I'm falling asleep with food in my mouth. And obviously I can choke, so I have to be watched the whole time. My poor mum, she will sit there constantly calling me and tapping my hand and, sitting there through it with me. This woman is an angel. You don't understand how amazing she is. The things that she does to take care of me, she deserves like a national award or something. Someone please nominate her, because I don't think I'm allowed. But, nominate her for something. She deserves it. Yeah, that's basically what I'm dealing with. That is chronic fatigue syndrome in a nutshell. And then if you also take into account, I don't know if you're aware of this, but when you go for extended periods without sleep, it also, this can happen to anybody, it puts an element of stress on your joints. And so your joints become painful and heavy to lift. Now, add that to everything else that I'm dealing with as well, all my other illnesses, and you'll get that it's just one thing after another, that it's a never-ending cycle that keeps me where I am. I think that's about all I can really say about it. I can't really think of anything else, but if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about something with me, by all means, I'm more than happy to do so. I welcome that. I hope I've explained it well enough, but like I said, if I haven't, then please ask if I've not been clear on something, and I will be happy to talk further. I'm going to sleep if I can. Peace.